Hi, I'm Luke. Today on Auto Darts, we are going to look at one of my childhood favorites in 3 different ways, the Nerf Sharpshooter. Let's get going. When I was growing up, Nerf was a brand new thing. In 1992, Hasbro came out with the Sharpshooter, which shot the very first actual Nerf dart. This blaster was really fun as a kid. It obviously doesn't fit my hands and does not perform like modern blasters. Now, I have slowly accumulated a tiny collection of these. I have 3 different variants, including these 3. There were 2 color schemes that were ever made, this maroon, which was the one I had as a kid, and then this blue. Now, all of these are actually from 1993 variant, because I can see that stamped right on the side here. I'm pretty sure my childhood one could have been from either year. I honestly cannot remember, and growing up in the 90s, we didn't have quite as many photos of every little thing as we do these days. So what I'm going to show you here today are 3 different versions of this blaster, and they've been sent to me by friends and a customer. This is the very original configuration with 2 very valuable, to me anyway, original darts. The Sharpshooter was a really fun blaster, and I played with this thing for forever. I didn't have a lot of Nerf blasters growing up. Parents didn't approve of toy guns, I guess, and you could see where that led them. Anyway, this blaster was a ton of fun. It has so many flaws, and I got this one from the Nerf Curator up here in Washington, and this one even happened to have this same broken tab that happens on all of these blasters. Due to the shape of where you put your hand, the force when you pull back on this tends to go up. I'm not exaggerating, I'm just priming this like normal, so unless you really pull back, and it was probably Nerf's very first blaster design flaw as far as I'm concerned, as far as a major one, because virtually every one of these I've ever seen has that break, with the exception of this very fine specimen that Rachel and Greg and Guy, my friends in the Bay Area, put together for me. I believe Guy actually did all the modding, but Rachel and Greg found the blaster itself. But let's start with the stock one first. The stock one is stock from the 90s. I went ahead and shot all of these over the chronograph, and with the stock configuration, you are very lucky if you can get 50 FPS. This blaster was just, it has so many design flaws when you compare it to today. You have to nail this dart peg just perfectly to get this thing in. I remember being a kid and just being furious at this. Now, like as an adult, I would 3D print a little part to go inside there to hold that. We'll get more on that later here. But you'd have to finesse this in, prime it, and then you get your shot. Oh, I even hit. And you were lucky to hit someone across the room, but it was still a ton of fun because up until this point, most of the toy guns, quote unquote, were little tiny darts. They didn't fly very far. There were some cool Italian little blasters that shot little mini darts or mini like pellets. Someone comment in the description if you know the blaster I'm talking about. It had a ratcheting mechanism where you would squeeze the handle together, and it took little 5 or 6 round magazines. But, so that's the stock configuration. Then a customer a while back sent me a version which has been Brast and takes short darts. Now, judging by the priming load, this is still the stock configuration. And with a short dart, it's a fun little toy. It gets around high 40s, 50 FPS, maybe you can get high 50s here, an occasional 60. But a very fun little blaster nonetheless, and a great little add-on to the collection. Now, most importantly, for many of you that have been watching the channel for a while will know that I do really love Boomco. Boomco is a cool straw-like ammo from Mattel, for those that are unfamiliar. In many ways, this was actually a superior ammo. It flied very straight, very far. Prior to the half-length darts, this dominated most Nerf blasters as far as accuracy. Then the half-length darts came around and they really have shown to be much improved. This aluminum barrel, rather, also has a perfect little collar here, which is almost what I was just describing with 3D printing. And the funny thing is that Greg and Rachel and Guy did this for me, but I've been thinking about printing something like this for a while, and here I have no idea what part they used in here, but it's something, some little piece of plastic that just makes this a dream to shove darts in. And with Boomco, this thing packs a punch. It shoots high 90s, you'll occasionally break 100. I have no idea what spring they've got in there, but boy, is it fun. So I'm looking forward to actually getting out and playing with this. They gave me this back in October, and I just never got a chance to actually dive in. I'm going to try be careful not to break that little tab there because it's in such good condition, which is just fabulous. But I love taking a look at these older blasters and just seeing what else they can do with them. I think I'd like to see how far I could take the plunger tube on one of these with some reinforcement. So I may have to take this stock one and do a little more with it, though it's nice having those stock darts just for nostalgia. Realistically, this is a very difficult blaster to get your hand into. Two of my fingers tend to fall off, and I can't barely get my finger into that. I kind of have to approach it with just the fingertip, because getting my finger, I can't even push my finger in like comfortably. It's now totally stuck. I'm still working on this setup here with the new studio at home. I think gray was more or less the more common one, so I think I'm going to go gray like I did before in the back, and I'm going to hang some new blasters and continue working on some new projects. Proton Pack is getting very close. I'm spending a little last bit of design work next week, and all of the parts and supplies that go into making the kits are on their way to me, or they are already here. So finally I'll be able to wrap up that project and share it with all of you. Hope you enjoyed this look at a couple different mods. I'd love to hear what your favorite vintage blasters are. This is one of the few that has like a dear spot in my heart because I actually owned it. I didn't own a lot of Nerf blasters, so there's not as many, but there weren't that many to own in the first place. I'm also having a really fun time checking out other 3D printed mods that other companies have made, and it's just fun seeing what people are doing. So I think I've got a Bulwark in the works that I will be showing off at some point in the coming weeks, and a few other things as well. So again, thanks for watching. Do hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, I'm out of darts.